Hey Ratbags, it's Jade. Earlier on you may have caught me live streaming 2 hours deeper dive into the announcement that Grounded 2 is incoming very soon, but I figure I should give you a full quick breakdown of everything that we discovered, including the price, what's going to go on with PlayStation or Switch releases, what to expect and what not to expect with Grounded 2 the sequel, and a whole bunch more info. And if you want to know more and keep up to date with everything that happens with Grounded 2 launch and beyond, come and join my Discord. I've got special channels set up for all the pictures we can find, speculation and just general chat. So let's go, everything you need to know about Grounded 2. So first off, the release date. It is going to be on the 29th of July 2025, releasing on Xbox, Xbox Windows and PC Steam. It's going to be game preview, just like the first Grounded. It means it's going to have development updates and won't be considered a finished game until it reaches 1.0. The price will be $29.99, and of course it will be part of Game Pass on day one if you've got Game Pass Ultimate or PC Game Pass. For PlayStation and Switch fans, you are going to have to wait. It does look likely you won't be able to play it until it goes to 1.0. The original Grounded spent 2 years in early access, so sadly that does seem like quite a long time. Grounded 2 is being made though by 2 studios, the original team by the looks of things from Obsidian, as well as getting help from another studio, Eidos Montreal, who most recently worked on the Guardians of the Galaxy adventure game a few years ago. So with that many or more resources, we could be looking at a faster development time. However, they have stated in a follow-up big showcase reveal that effectively the game is going to receive bigger, chunkier updates maybe than what we had in early access the first time, but these may take a little bit longer to actually come through. Grounded is not going to be appearing on Xbox One. One of the big reasons we're getting a sequel perhaps a little bit soon is because support for the old game was becoming more difficult with the older gen. So this will mean in future that there won't be a PS4 version either. However, Grounded is going to be part of Xbox Cloud, which means you can actually play it on an Xbox One if you're playing strictly via the Xbox Cloud and the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate Edition. Grounded is still going to be a 4-player co-op or solo experience. Pete, Max, Willow and Hoops are still roaming around Brook Hollow, and it seems some sort of catastrophe has happened in Brook Hollow Park and you're going to have to go back to being small to investigate it. While Wendell appears in the cutscenes from the news report at the beginning of the trailer and there is a statue dedicated to him and Burgle, it remains to be seen if we'll have direct contact with them, or maybe part of the story is trying to find out where they've gone, especially since an explosion has rocked the park. At its early access or game preview launch, apparently the map that we're going to be playing on is about roughly the same size as the completed backyard for Grounded 1. But in the future, the whole overall map will be 3 times as big as the original Grounded map. While there will be some story beats to experience during the game preview, much like the original game, it does look like we're going to have to wait until 1.0 to get the fully completed story, and there may be lots of changes that are made. It doesn't look like your progress will carry over in any way, shape or form from the previous game, given it's 2 years later and you've already returned to being normal sized and then re-shrunk. There will be returning armour and weapons as well as base building parts from the first game, and there's a lot of assets that we can see are being reused for the second. But there's also a whole bunch of brand new armours and gear, including this one you might have missed as it only appeared on the Game Pass store. How badass does it look? In fact, a whole bunch of the armours look fantastic, and I'll be going through them in a separate video listing everything we know. From what we can deduce, it looks like there will be 4 distinct zones as part of the first experience of playing Grounded 2, but potentially up to 10 unique biomes if some of the clues given by the map that was shown off on the picnic table inside the actual park. Some of the biggest additions clearly are the ability to ride some bugs. They're called buggies, and in case you didn't know, we're going to be riding a red ant soldier as well as a orb weaver. These new creatures are going to require special saddles to ride them, with the red ant soldier being able to carry a bunch of resources, but also have 2 regular ants accompany us as we go about exploring, gathering and crafting. The All Weaver is going to give us the ability to build bridges out of web, maybe stick some enemies with it too, and get around at a much faster pace, basically a battle mount. This is just the first two of what is planned to have a whole bunch more creatures that will be able to mount and ride come into the game as early access develops. Mounts are going to be a big deal for Grounded. I've seen in previous other games like Smallland how useful some creatures can be and how really useless some can be. Getting the balance right, again, via games like Ark, where you've got to make sure the dinos aren't so OP or useless, is something that the Grounded devs are going to have to really work at. I'm really hoping we see some flying creatures. Anyway, that's for another video. Let's stick to the facts and what we know. We'll be using our bugs to fight. We'll be using our bugs to get through certain resources to gain access to new areas. It does look like we'll also be able to hatch and breed our own bugs in the future. Your bugs will also be able to block certain other attacks, as well as being able to use a dodge function, just like you can with a brand new mechanic added. In fact, it looks like a lot of the wild bugs will now have this ability. There are of course a whole slate of brand new creatures being added. We've seen various different types of scorpion, including red, purple and potentially a green/brown version. There's a brand new green mantis, as well as a caterpillar, cockroaches, snails and butterflies. There's also new baby variants of cockroaches and looks to be maybe different sized weevils. Returning creatures are bees, soldier ants of course, worker ants, stink bugs, larvae, wolf spiders, gnats, ladybugs, all weavers, spiderlings, weevils and fireflies. A massive new change is going to be the inventory management, and helping with that is the Omni tool. One tool to do pretty much everything now, combining your shovel, hammer, axe and repair tool all in one. Inventory space is a lot larger now too, and returning features like perks will be added to the game, especially similar to what you've experienced. Get a certain amount of kills with a spear and you gain certain perks for doing so. Big shout out to Apex Predator who helped collate a lot of this information while we streamed. It does look like we'll be exploring some unique new zones, including a ice cream frozen area, buried toxic waste area, plus the insides of a hot dog Billy Dog horror cart. As well as some returning places like maybe another pond, lots of bushes and hedges but with new fruit like cherries. There's even some crop plots and farming areas as well, plus some smaller places like a stand which we'll be able to climb inside and make our way to the top to potentially get resources. We've also seen a whole bunch of different omniant laboratories again, with seemingly some sort of hub that we may need to activate with different power or communications via satellites. Of course, building bases is returning with a lot of the same build pieces that you've come to know and love, including a lot of decorations and the similar crafting stations. Some new items though that we did come across were some brand new wall build pieces, likely made out of bark on one side and then the other slatted grass, what seems to be dead grass. There's a whole bunch of new hanging sign frames, as well as a spider creature stable or something along them lines potentially, as well as tiki decorations, giving the game a somewhat more tropical or tribal feel. Added to that, there is looking like some new kind of thatch roof, potentially made maybe out of toothpicks or perhaps it's reeds. It does look like there's going to be returning armour, but maybe with some new twists, including red ant armour, acorn armour, spider armour, ladybug and bee, but yeah, may have undergone some redesigns. We've counted up at least 3 to 4 different unique armor sets, and while we could speculate about what they could be actually made from, again I'm going to leave that for another video. But we have got at least 2 new swords, 1 new magic stave, and out of the armor sets it does look like they really are focusing on different playstyles, with one maybe more geared towards stealth gameplay, rogue gameplay with dual wielding daggers, and that's a brand new feature. There's now a strong arm and a weak arm in Grounded. It really does look like a stealth survival option where we may do more damage when creeping up behind certain bugs. And as you would expect, a whole ton of other stuff, including new hammers, as well as maybe more potential use out of some of the armors given protection against cold. It does also seem to be some sort of brand new fist gauntlet, as well as the scabs looking very different from the previous versions. The new cold biome does look great, and it is obviously focused around this ice cream truck that has fallen on its side with all of the ice and snow and I guess ice cream falling down the way. There potentially could be new icicles that we'll have to go ahead and harvest, with lots more food resources potentially again, including things like lollipops as well as wafer cones, but again that's yet to be confirmed. There seems to be a focus on a brand new female protagonist that potentially could be maybe either Schmechter's wife or the scientist that helped us originally in the first game. Either way, Omnium are back under the leadership of this person and might actually end up helping us or trying to stop us. A lot of the bugs in Grounded have had a nice glow up and changes to their colours and design, including more hair on wolf spiders. One thing to note, we definitely know some stuff is being removed. Like I said, there's a whole bunch of new gear as well as old gear returning like spears and whatnot, but something to do with traversal is not going to be there at the start, and that's zip lines. The devs want to see how we progress potentially with the new mounts and whether or not zip lines need to be introduced in a new way or at all. Other things we don't have the answers for just yet include what happens with maybe shared save worlds. Is that still going to be a feature? Is the playground mode going to be added? Given there was no info about either of these two things during the showcase, I would imagine not, maybe for sure on playgrounds, and absolutely with New Game Plus. You can't have New Game Plus if the game isn't complete, but I am sure it will get added in the future too. A big thing players always wanted from the first one was the ability to host your own server. Well, shared worlds kind of solved that problem for a lot. And players have always wanted to be able to increase the amount of people that can join a server. It doesn't look like that's the case. It's still going to be a 4-player game. There was no wording on mods, and I wouldn't expect any kind of info on that, but given the first game never supported mods officially, I can't imagine that will change. What we do know is there's going to be a roadmap giving us details on day one with their plans going forward. I've got so much content planned, taking a deep dive into all the new creatures, all the new gear, and a lot of speculative videos talking about what could be added in the future. But for now, hopefully that's everything you really need to know about the latest dev blog and of course the reveal trailer. As said, make sure you come join my Discord to keep up to date with anything brand new. I'll be posting it as soon as I find any info. And if you think there's anything I've missed or you just want to add some more detail, then leave it in the comment section down below. As always, I'll be here, as I have been since day one, in fact before, when I covered Grounded on my older channel in 2019 and onwards before its release, and then switching it over to Jade PG Crafted to really focus on games like Grounded. I'm so happy to be able to share this journey again and give you guys all the info you need.